It's a record for asylum seekers in Britain. Yes, a record. 111,084 people applied for asylum in the year ending June 2025. I'm Patrick Christys and this is GB News Originals. Please like and subscribe below. Yet the number of people claiming asylum has almost doubled since 2021. Half of asylum seekers in that time have arrived through irregular routes, so illegally, while a further 37% of claimants had previously arrived in the UK on a visa. So just let that sink in. Half of the people came completely illegally in the back of lorries or on small boats across the channel, or even in people's roof racks as well, which has been happening from some poor people who've been trying to return from France from their holidays. Another 37% we gave a visa to, whether it was in the care sector, whether it was a student visa, whether it was just some kind of job visa. And then they've overstayed and claimed asylum. This is a complete racket, isn't it? 110,000 people received initial decisions on their asylum claims in that year ending June 2025. Now, bear in mind, what did Labour say they were going to do? Oh, we're going to change the system. We are going to streamline it. We are going to get those cases decided upon, approved or rejected quicker, so we can get those people out of hotels, deported if we need to, or, of course, just into a home near you. What's the reality? 8% fewer decisions on asylum cases than the previous year. It's gone down. It's just like when Sir Keir Starmer said he'd smash the gangs, isn't it? And what's happened? Fewer gangs have been smashed than under the Conservatives, and that really is saying something. Almost half of the initial decisions to the main applicants in the year ending June 2025 were approvals. Fantastic, isn't it? A smaller proportion than the 58% in the previous year. But we all know what happens, don't we? It becomes an appeal, then another appeal. And we have had a catalogue of cases in this country where people have appealed even up to 8 times and then finally been accepted. Technically speaking, right now in modern Britain, all you have to do is get a plane, land at Heathrow, turn up, claim asylum, say that you're from whatever country you want to say you're from, and then go and attend some kind of protest at an embassy that is against the government of that country. And bingo, we can't send you back.
Hello, I'm Bev Turner. Now, it can feel like the money in our bank accounts at the moment does not keep up with the cost of living, and maybe there's a solution. I'm here today with the CEO of TallyMoney, Cameron Parry. Cameron, what is TallyMoney?
Well, Bev, with TallyMoney, you get a current account and a debit card, but instead of pounds, you use milligrams of gold as your everyday money.
So why gold?
Gold traditionally is a great store of value. It has, on average, gone up at over 11% per annum for the last 25 years against the pound. It's tripled in value in the last decade. And in the last 2 years alone, it's increased by 50% against the pound. Banks' savings products just can't compete with that level of growth.
But this isn't just about gold. This is about a currency that you guys have created at TallyMoney. Explain it to me as though I'm an idiot.
So, look, people need to be able to hold their earnings and build their savings in a money that retains its value and remains in their legal control and remains theirs to access, away from government control.
Great. You had me at not exposed to government control.
You should feel safe and happy with your money. You should have peace of mind the more money you see in your bank balance, and that's the type of thing we're trying to deliver and give people choice in the type of money they get to use every day.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Cameron. Thank you.
Yeah. That's right. Some of these stats are absolutely damning. When you look singularly at asylum, 111,000 people claimed asylum, and that is up 14% since the previous year. 14%. Half of asylum seekers arrive via irregular routes. Now, again, just let that sink in, because that means that half of them don't. 49,000 irregular arrivals were detected. So that's up 27% since the previous year. We are up 27% on illegal migrants as a whole. Absolutely shocking statistic, that, isn't it? 43,000 small boat arrivals in that year. They account for 88% of the illegals. So if we managed to stop the boats, we would stop 88% of illegal immigrants coming to Britain. We've also got the leading number of nationalities now, so we can find out exactly where in the world these people are coming from when they arrive here illegally. Afghans, Somalis, Sudanese and Eritreans top the list alongside the Iraqis. And we need to have a conversation about that, don't we? Because in those countries, what is their attitude towards things like women and girls? What is their attitude towards things like gay rights as well? And what is the dominant religion in a lot of those countries? And how fundamental are they in their beliefs? Again, a lot of people would have concerns that we maybe are here importing people, albeit unwillingly, who are going to find it very difficult to assimilate into modern Britain. They're going to find it difficult to adhere to our cultural norms. And people don't just leave their cultural norms at the door when they arrive in Dover and kiss British soil. Of course, the other big story going around at the moment is about migrant hotels. We now have a whole new meaning of the term illegal migrant hotels. Before, that meant that they were full of illegal migrants. Now, actually, it turns out the hotels themselves are illegal. The government lost a High Court case against a group of people in Epping in Essex because that hotel there that was housing 100 or so illegal immigrants did not have the right planning permission. It turned out that it had planning permission to be, wait for it, a hotel, not indeed a holding pen for illegal migrants from all over the world. So that could set a legal precedent. And what's happening now is that 27 other councils, just so far that is, there'll probably be more by the time this video goes out, 27 other councils have decided to appeal against migrant hotels in their area because they think that those hotels also don't have the right planning permission and would therefore have to close. This presents a huge problem for the British government. Why? Well, we've got 32,000 illegal migrants currently living in some 210 hotels all around the country. If all of those hotels have to close, that means that the government has to try to find accommodation for these 32,000 illegal migrants on top of all of the other people that they've just granted asylum to. And just remember some of those statistics that we were speaking about there. 111,000 people tried to claim asylum in the last year alone. Well, the government has four options as far as I can tell. The first one is to try to go back to court to appeal this verdict. A very risky and, in my view, stupid decision, because that would mean that the government is essentially at war with its own people legally over migrant hotels. So I don't really think they can get away with doing that. They would have another option, which is to try to house all of these illegal migrants in houses of multiple occupancy, which HMOs. Wow. The government has apparently today tried to find 5,000 HMOs, 5,000 properties to house some of these migrants. I don't think they can do that either. How can you guarantee that there's security at all of these houses? Can you imagine, seriously, that you've bought a flat or a house or an apartment or a bungalow somewhere in an area that you've chosen to live in, or you're renting there, and you're paying your rent and you're paying your mortgage, and then all of a sudden the house next door goes up for sale and the government buys it, and the government puts in 5 men from Iraq, Sudan, Eritrea, Ethiopia and Afghanistan. How would you feel about that? Would you feel safe? Do you think that that might build up a bit of resentment amongst the community towards the government? So I don't think they can do that. Another option that they have is to admit that they were wrong about the Rwanda scheme or something like the Rwanda scheme. What they could do is start processing people abroad. So someone arrives here in Dover on a small boat, they get immediately sent to somewhere like Rwanda and processed there. The problem for the government is, of course, they oppose Rwanda consistently, and then Sir Keir Starmer scrapped it on day one. So it'd be very difficult for him now to try to get a deal with a country that he would regard as safe. Remember, he tried to do it with Albania and the Albanians told him to swivel. So where would he do it now? And how long? Because this ruling about this hotel in Epping means that the hotel has to shut in 2 weeks. So if that all goes through the courts and they all have to shut in 2 weeks, we've got 32,000 migrants with nowhere to go. But then comes in option 4. Deport. This is a genuine option for the government. They could decide that what they want to do is deport all of these illegal migrants who have broken into Britain, have no right to be here, are probably going to end up being a net drain on our society. There may well be safety risks. We've certainly seen that going around as well. And don't let them tell you that it can't be done. It can. Germany is sending people back to Afghanistan. Yes, the Taliban-controlled Afghanistan. The Germans don't seem to mind doing that. We have just signed some kind of returns agreement with Iraq, which might come in handy, given that we've had about 1,500 illegal Iraqis arrive in the last year alone. Are they all going to go back there or not? So there are options here for the government. I would suggest they choose option 4, which is deport, deport, deport.